Conversation is an important way to convey emotion and meaning. The tongue is the most powerful weapon we have in our arsenal, and when used wisely can be for the greater good. In your journey of refinement, the way you speak is of utmost importance and can convey a number of things, including how elegant you are. In today's video, we are going to explore 8 conversation mistakes to avoid that can make you come across as unrefined. My lovely Elegance ladies, welcome back to another video. My name is Vivian. I am the founder of Woman of Elegance, which is a platform that I have created to help women globally become the most elegant, sophisticated and classy women that they can be. I hope you've enjoyed this series on the conversation etiquette so far. So without further ado, let's go into the third segment of this series. Point number 1, not using the correct greetings. Greetings vary from country to country. For example, in Australia, people would greet using good day. In America, they would say hey. In the UK, hello, and so forth. Please comment on which greetings are used in the country that you're from. It's okay to use a particular type of greeting for the country you reside in. However, please save the colloquialisms for casual settings. Are you accustomed to saying, how are you? Well, ladies, here's a surprise for you. Stop saying this. It's really insincere, it's really overused, and it's really just used to acknowledge people. It doesn't really mean anything. When you ask somebody how they are, you're not expecting a very long rambling answer. You're really subconsciously expecting them to just say, I'm fine, thank you. So you're literally just acknowledging them. Start asking, how have you been? This is a better phrase to use because you're not likely to get a monosyllabic answer, and it's also a very warm expression. The same with what are you up to or are you well? The person really has to give a detailed response to this, and it gives rise to more open-ended answers and a conversation even. Stop saying hey and start saying hello. Don't say nice to meet you, that's an absolute no-no, and start saying pleased to meet you. If you're with your best friends, for example, casual greetings are fine, but I really want you to start adapting a better way of speaking from the outset so you're never really caught off guard. Point number 2, rambling. If, for example, in a job interview, the interviewer asks you a simple question and expects a simple answer, yet you start rambling on about your childhood, for example, or a divorce, you come across as somebody who isn't able to think critically, and this skill is important. As an employer myself, I often shy away from people who exhibit this trait because I assume that they constantly talk to hide their lack of work, basically talking excessively to hide something. Or I might assume that they may annoy the rest of the workforce. Also, if you want to come across as an elegant lady in your speech, if you are not concise, your message will lose impact. Don't allow this habit to get the best of you. Practice answering questions succinctly. Don't be robotic, but don't ramble. Think about the question carefully before giving an answer, and remember, if you ramble, you could say something you may regret. Point number 3, pretending to know something you don't. Did you listen to Jordan Peterson's lecture on affecting psychological matters? It was amazing, wasn't it? What did you think about the references he used? Yeah, they were really good. Which one stood out to you and why? Wouldn't it have just been easier to say no? If you don't know something, that's perfectly okay. You don't need to pretend. If you do pretend, you may start being defensive because your subconscious is telling you that he is lecturing you or testing your knowledge when he is in fact trying to establish common ground. Of course, in more formal or academic settings, you should always be prepared to give an answer. But in more casual discussions, you should not be ashamed of not knowing something. In the example given, the correct way to respond would have been, no, I didn't watch it. Please enlighten me. Then you can showcase your interest by asking questions about what you've heard. Point number 4, allowing hostile attribution bias to get the best of you. What is hostile attribution bias? This is the tendency to ascribe harmful or otherwise adverse intent to the ambiguous behavior of others. In short, unwarranted suspicion. If you're always suspicious about other people's gestures or their words, then you may have a case of hostile attribution bias. To be honest, I had a problem with this for a long time. I was always suspicious of others, why the person looked down when talking to me, or why they cracked a slight smile, or why they coughed mid-conversation. Can you see, ladies, why this is problematic? You can't concentrate on what's being said and your mind begins to wander. The best way to dissipate this line of thinking is to stop trying to interpret the other person's thoughts or actions. It doesn't serve you, and you can come across as being aloof or disengaging when you align your thoughts this way. Please stop this trait, because if you behave in this way, people could be repulsed by this and stop engaging with you altogether. Point number 5, not keeping it neutral and civil. I am very sure we're all aware of this Johnny Depp and Amber Heard debacle. If ever there was a classic case of airing your dirty laundry in public, then this is it. So ladies, for example, you're speaking to a friend who's going through a bitter divorce. How do you console them? Do you tend to say things like, oh, well, I never liked him anyway. You're better off without them. They were not good enough for you. You may think you're consoling the person, but you're not helping at all. In fact, you're devaluing the marriage and questioning your friend's judgment or choice of spouse. After all, they were once in love, they still may be in love, they may share children, and the feelings might still be raw. Also, by taking sides prematurely, you could risk being a third party should a reconciliation happen. Always stay neutral in such situations. Point number 6, forcing humor in conversation. I remember once going on a date with a man. He was a nice guy, he was handsome and he was a gentleman. But his sense of humor was drier than the desert sand, which is fine. Not everyone values a sense of humor and not everyone has one. However, he was constantly trying to crack jokes, and in an effort to preserve his ego, I kept laughing at his very dry jokes until my jaws hurt. It was really exhausting, and safe to say there was no second date.
Spent 44.39. Put 20 on my card, mate, and then let her have some change back. Yeah.
It's important to be mindful of where you are. Jokes and humour should be kept to a minimum depending on where you are, obviously, for example, in settings like a funeral. On the other hand, if you're trying too hard to tell jokes and the responses are somewhat lukewarm, then it's time to stop, because you can risk creating an awkward atmosphere. Point number 7, assuming a level of interest in what you are saying. When speaking to people, especially with people we aren't familiar with, it's easy to infer from perhaps their body language or their mannerisms that they're interested in what we're saying, and vice versa. As previously reiterated, it's hard to focus on what you're saying when you're constantly concentrating on the other person. This often manifests itself when giving short answers or rambling on for minutes on end. In this instance, you must strike a balance. You need to be discerning. If they're giving you one-word responses, then it's probably time to end the conversation. However, if they're trying to engage you and you keep giving monosyllabic answers, then perhaps you should try and rev things up a little, because again, you don't want to come across as being aloof or disinterested in what the person is saying. But if you are disinterested in what they're saying, then it's perhaps time to cut the conversation short. Point number 8, using repetitive vocal inflections. What are vocal inflections? Vocal inflections or intonation is when we change the tone or the pitch of our voice when we're speaking in order to convey a more precise meaning of our words, or to provide insight about how we're feeling. Results from a study at the University of Chicago revealed that the average human ear can distinguish 1,378 noticeable differences in tone. The research also showed that how you say something is 5 times more important than what you say. If you're constantly monotone and you don't put emphasis on the right words, you take away the true meaning of what you're trying to convey, and you risk boring your listeners. Train yourself to use inflections when speaking to give emphasis and meaning to the things that you say. Let's take, for example, the following phrase. I didn't say he stole the bag. 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 For example, by giving emphasis to the I didn't say he stole the bag. I'm inferring that somebody else stole the bag. In giving emphasis to the he, by saying I didn't say he stole the bag, I'm implying that perhaps somebody else stole the bag. I said that she stole the bag. So can you see, by emphasizing particular words, I'm conveying a different meaning. If you are constantly monotone and you don't put emphasis on the right words, you take away the true meaning of what you're trying to convey and you risk boring your listeners. Ladies, I hope you enjoyed this segment of Speaking English Elegantly. If you haven't already done so, please do follow me on my Skillshare account, Speak English Elegantly, where I'll be uploading videos that will teach you and help you to speak better English. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye for now.